What's up guys, my name is Jellycut5 and welcome to the Manchester City versus Chelsea review where Chelsea got thumped once again as we lost in a 3-1 defeat. Before I do get into this video, if you can give me something, please subscribe, please like, and don't forget to hit that notification button so you never miss a video. It'd be really appreciated if you can do so, and it helps the channel out a massive bunch. So Chelsea 3, no, Chelsea 3, I wish it was Chelsea 3, Man City 3, Chelsea 1, not good enough, simple as that. We started really well after a mistake from debutant Kuznetsov to be able to kind of inroad for a Jackson to be able to square it to Noni Madueke and put it into an empty net, but once again, Chelsea go 1-0 up and we sit on it and it just doesn't seem to work. We're not a team that can be able to park the bus and really kind of hold teams, and especially the way that we've been playing at this moment in time, then that's definitely the case. There was heaps of pressure coming on from the City attack, and especially Garvial. There was plenty of times where they had offside moments and an offside goal at one point from debutant Maramouche. But it didn't take long in the end. In the 42nd minute, they finally broke their own deadlock and got their goal just before half-time, and that was all she wrote for ourselves, because in the second half we didn't come out to play. It seemed to be a different side in the first half, came out in the second half because we didn't create any chances, didn't defensively look good, passing wise we just lacked a lot of concentration, and it seems to be that we just completely capitulated. And the one obviously headline is to mention that Robert Sanchez, and how any kind of mistakes can be backed up from Maresca is just absolutely clueless. I'd love to know the monies he's on, because he must be on something good to be able to say that he's actually kind of putting in a good shift week in, week out, because he's not. He's simply not. If you look at Sanchez's position from where Haaland actually scored from, it's actually shambolic. You either commit to the ball, you don't. And it's really, really strange. It's a simple goal from Haaland in the 68th minute, I have to say, and then in the 87th, Phil Foden's got a one-on-one attempt, and Sanchez isn't saving that at all. He couldn't even catch a cold. Back to the drawing board, I suppose. It's a kind of a story of our season where I just don't really know what's going on. Maresca mentioned in his press conference that we look better than we did 2 months ago, but 2 months ago we was being called title challengers, and now we're getting mentioned that we might not even get top 4. Make it make sense. I feel like Maresca's going soft. I feel like Maresca's running out of ideas. I'm not saying that we should be calling for his kind of the appointment of him to be banished by what means whatsoever. I feel like he's good enough for us. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't think the players that he's got of his armoury isn't. I just don't think. I really don't. We've spent £1 billion and we've got nothing to show for it. And I think that there comes a point in time in the season there where it's the case of we've really, really got to look at it and go, how many excuses can we make before we actually really started getting on the board? Because yes, they've spent money, but in the wrong areas. And if you feel like we need to spend 70 million on Garnacho and that's going to solve our problems, then you need to give yourself a wobble, because at the end of the day, it wasn't good enough, and we've signed players that aren't good enough, and maybe in time they'll be good enough, but we need someone for now. We can't just rely on the future. We need someone in the present, because in the present we're getting smashed. We really are. And we've played a City team today that haven't got their strongest side on paper, and we're playing a City team today that's been woeful. It's probably the first season they're actually going to go trophyless, and they've made us look absolutely tiny as a squad. And I'm just kind of struggling to know why, and what's really going on as a club, in fairness, and what's really going on in fairness, because we've taken 5 steps back, 5 steps forward, and 10 steps back. It's as simple as that, and we're no different to what Pochettino was with last season. And I'd like to people to kind of come at me and say why that is the case, because I honestly will be saying at the end of the season that we've missed out on top 4, and that's no different to what Pochettino did. And we spent more money. It's clueless. This was the lineup Maresca did fill today, and on paper it actually looked pretty strong. And when I actually first initially looked at the side, I thought, you know what, we might actually be in for something today. Robert Sanchez in goal. I feel like he's like playing at the park or something and plays rush goalkeeper, because he seems to kind of have so much of his line and just feel like he just wanders in the pitch like he's going for his daily stroll. So I don't really know what's going on with him, to be honest. And I don't think that Jorgensen's a top goalkeeper either, but I feel like he's got to be a bit more well positioned and a bit more clued up compared to Robert Sanchez. The fact that Lorenzo Maresca can actually turn up and say that, oh, he knows he needs to do better. Well, of course he knows. He concedes every game. Surely he knows, but that great big paycheck in his bank isn't going to basically be any different. And us as fans have got to watch it week in, week out. Imagine if you travelled 4 hours today to go and watch that absolute rubbish, and that's being kind. So yeah, 5.0 for Sanchez. It was just woeful. Cucurella 6.0 was at fault for the first goal. He's had a great season so far, but just not to be in that particular tie, unfortunately. And the same goes for the right hand side of Reece James. Just looked really wary on that right, and he kept kind of tucking into defence to be able to allow that side to be really free. Felt like Caicedo was shifting over too much to the right back role, and it just felt like that side was wide open. Not good from him whatsoever. Was quite excited to see that Trevor Chalobah and Levi Colwill were partnering today, but Trevor with a 6 and Levi with a 5.5. Haaland made it light work to be able to stroll through the defence and really make kind of a decent work of it, in fairness, and it seemed to be every time that City attacked that looked like they could score. And same went for the midfield, just not good enough, really just didn't really hold their own. There's no balls being pinged out left, right and centre, and it feels to be that they just don't really seem to create that real midfield hold of what we've seen in recent times this season. Just not strong enough, not wise enough. Enzo 6.4, Caicedo 6.0, Sancho 6.1. I'm actually getting fed up the arguments that are made for him. They keep making compilations on TikTok of how he nutmegged this one and nutmegged that one, but at the end of the day we've got nothing to show for it because he's not assisting anymore and he's not scoring. And yes, we could say that he's had an assist the X amount this season and so on, but I don't know what he brings to the table what someone else doesn't. I don't find him as a world class player. I find him as an okay player, but he doesn't get in the England squad. And if you actually put him into perspective of all the players that we've got right now, would they fit into a top squad? Would they go into a Liverpool squad that are currently romping the lead in the Champions League? Definitely not. Noni Madueke, fair play for scoring the goal, but apart from that, went missing once again. Is incapable of running at his man and really taking him on and putting balls direct into the box, in fairness, and he just lacks that really intense ability to be able to skin his man and do something. Cole Palmer is actually starting to worry me that he goes missing in big games. I know there's a lot of his shoulders at the moment. I don't think he's fully fit at the same time. Went missing for a large majority of the game and only had the on half chance against the keeper. Nicholas Jackson, he's called a striker, but he doesn't do a striker's job. I feel like he's been really poor as of late and is continuing to do so. The confidence is an all-time low for Jackson at this moment in time, and I'm not too sure where we go from there because Nkunku came on as a substitute and he was woeful at the same time. A player that's being linked with every other team at this moment in time, and is he going to be a Chelsea player? He probably doesn't think he will be, and he doesn't really care if he's not at the same time because there's just so many attitudes that are just wrong at this club at this moment in time, and I feel like there's a real point where we've got to get on the boards back. As much as they've spent money, we've not got anything to show for it, and as fans, when we're spending money and we're looking at it, I just don't think we've got enough to be able to really see that we're a top team, and we're not. I'd be shocked to say that we're going to get top four this year. We've got West Ham next on the 3rd of Feb, and that's going to be a tough game. It really is. And I feel like we're making every bad team look good and every good team look world class. It's as simple as that. We're not good enough. The players that we've got aren't good enough, but we spent £1 billion and we're a bit of a laughing stock, in fairness. And hopefully we can pick it up against West Ham, but we've got a massive uphill battle now. We really need to piece a run together because if we're not able to do so, I think it's only going to get worse for Maresca. And I don't think there's going to be any reason to why there's going to be people getting on his back as well, the same as Pochettino. I understand that the kind of process in terms of like him mentioning that he would top four next season, title the next, and so on. But why? Well, why have we kind of stooped that low? Why have we gone from such prestigious players to such kind of average players? We've had worser players that we felt at the time, like Kepa Arrizabalaga, that we absolutely sated. But in fairness, he looks so much better compared to Sanchez. We've got Petrovic on loan that looks so much better to Sanchez. We've got Andre Santos at Strasbourg that is rated one of the highest rated midfielders at this moment in time, not playing for us at this moment in time. Willian Estavo that obviously will be coming in the summer, as well as Kendry Paez. The future's bright to an extent, but if there's not the right people to put it in place and the right people to really get us moving as a club, then I'm not too sure where we go from there. And I feel like the board are really just looking at stats instead of really kind of putting pen to paper and really putting some experience on the pitch, like your Thiago Silvas and so on. But there's a lot to work on. There is a lot to work on, and that's the worrying part. And I feel like Maresca's going slightly soft, and I feel like he's running out of ideas in his press conferences also because he's sounding slightly deluded. But we shall see. I don't want to get on his back. I'm not going to call for his sack whatsoever because at the end of the day, I don't feel like he's solely to blame. There's 11 players that he puts on the pitch, and if they don't do the job, then there's only so much he can do. They get paid thousands a week, and I've always said why, because they don't seem to kind of worthy that sort of pay whatsoever. If I could run and kick a ball about, I'd be doing it for 90 minutes with blood, sweat and tears, and I don't see that from this side whatsoever. And we've had leaders, and we've had people that have wanted to die for this club, people that have really worn their heart on their sleeve and knew what the badge meant, and having a name on their back of the shirt being a Chelsea player was prestigious, and now I feel like it's a joke to them. When you've got Jadon Sancho at half time laughing with Haaland and hugging him and things like that, do that after the game. Do that after the game. Just because he was a teammate years ago, don't be nice to him. He's wearing a light blue shirt. He's your enemy for 90 minutes. It's as simple as that. I feel like we've gone soft. We've got too many players that don't care. and there's a big rethink needed. But that's all I'm going to say on it. It's not the most positive review, I know, but there's not much to say that's really good in this particular factor of the game. Hopefully we can be a bit more positive when we play against West Ham and burst some bubbles, hopefully. But until then, that is it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. Please like and subscribe for more content, and don't forget to hit that notification button to never miss a video. Cheers.